Hello friends, my name is Alex and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I have been filming a lot of videos, so I have kind of books everywhere. My shelves are torn apart and it feels like the perfect time to start a bookshelf reorganization. I'm a little bit nervous to do this on camera because when I first set up my bookshelves, it took me like weeks to slowly rearrange things and get them how I wanted them. It was a really slow process. So to try and do this all in one go, I'm super nervous about, but my shelves are way overdue for a reorganization. I've accumulated a lot of new books. Things have been crammed in weird places. I've got stacks going in places that make no sense. So it really makes sense to do this right now. My shelves need an overhaul. I want them looking nice and fresh again, so this is time. I'm going to attempt to do this. It's getting a little late in the evening here, so the lighting might get weird. I apologize for that in advance. I will do my best with what I've got to work with, but I thought I would just take you along and show you my process of reorganizing. I don't necessarily organize by author. I don't necessarily organize by color. I just kind of organize by like the vibe that I like. I may try and do something fun with my special editions. We will just have to see. I sometimes do some favorites shelves. I have an SJM shelf that'll probably stay how it is. I recently did a bookshelf tour. If you want to check that out, you can see kind of how they're set up as they are now, why I have them set up that way, but it's time to give them a refresh. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Let me try to attempt to reorganize my bookcases and bring you along with me for the experience. This is really hard. I'm really struggling. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do some sort of like sprayed edges shelf with some of my special editions, but the colors just did not feel like they were working. I don't feel like I have enough with sprayed and stenciled edges to make that a thing. So, you know, that didn't work out. I do have my Shadowhunters shelf, which I think I'm pretty happy with. I am keeping my Sarah J. Maas shelf that I already had. I'm trying to work on these colors because I really like the black, gold, and red colors that I had on this shelf before. So I'm trying to pick out which books I want to use for that. We've got some nice tones here, but I don't know where to put them. I'm just really struggling. So we will see how much longer I can go at this tonight. This may end up being a video that takes place across multiple days because they're definitely a mess right now, but I just don't actually know what I'm trying to do anymore. There has been a lot of me just like standing and staring at the shelves, trying to figure out what the heck I want to do here. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep working on it. Okay, friends. Oh man. Hi. This is Clark. He's gonna help. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I feel like I'm making some progress, but also no progress. So where we're at, I have moved Cassandra Clare up here from here. I have moved Sarah J. Maas up here from here. I've made kind of a East Asian, African, South American, culturally inspired shelf up here, and I kind of like this vibe. These are just such brightly, like, beautiful colored books that I kind of wanted to group them together. We'll see. I'm working on, like, color schemes here, but these are probably all going to move around because I'm not super vibing with it. I moved my romance, and then, I know this isn't romance, but I like it with these books. So I moved those down here. Maybe I'll add my cozies to this shelf. That feels right somewhere. I don't know where yet. The cozies, because I only have 2 of them. I want my art print somewhere. This is from Book Babe Designs. It's gorgeous. I'm obsessed. Anyways, I haven't even like touched these lower shelves except to like pull things off of them. We may be closing in on the end of today doing this, and I may have to check in with you guys another day. Friends, I'm feeling pretty happy with the top level for now. I mean, I know obviously as I continue to buy books, this will always be changing as series get new books added. These are gonna have to rearrange because they won't fit. So obviously that's gonna be a work in progress forever, but I am enjoying how I got that one laid out. That took me quite a while, but we're making some progress. The top I'm pretty happy with. Fingers crossed I don't end up making a ton of changes to it. We'll see as we continue. I'm really surprised that I ended up mixing in more paperbacks on the top because I really like to keep my hardbacks and paperbacks kind of separated, but I picked some of the like longer, thicker, floppy paperbacks that have really nicer spines, except for Priory, she's a little bent. But yeah, I'm liking it. It's not my normal, what I would typically go for in terms of like that mixing, but I think it works for what I was going for overall, especially kind of trying to keep with longer series or worlds, except for that one. But I think it works. I mean, we've got some good series over there. Hopefully I can make some progress down lower now, because this, I need to get this worked out because this is my filming background usually. So we need to figure that out. Okay, friends, I'm gonna call it quits for the night. I will rejoin you in this tomorrow or later this week. Obviously, this video will continue until I'm done. However, I'm exhausted, it's dinner time, I need to eat, and this is still a mess. I like the colors we have going, but something just feels wrong. These are homeless right now because they're so colorful, but like they don't go together. They're not like colors that work in a group, but they don't work with anything right now. So I don't know where to put them. It will get better. It will get better. I will check in with you guys whenever I try to tackle more of this. Friends, obviously it is a different day. It is actually over an entire week later from when I first started this very chaotic bookshelf reorganization video, and I figured it was time to actually wrap this video up since last night I finally got back around to finishing up my bookshelves. It took me the entire week to kind of just sit and think on it and stare at them and be like, what the heck am I trying to do? What am I going for? So last night I finished it up. I will show you the clips of those time lapses, me working on it yesterday. Just kind of went on vibe for this. There's no like system. I just go on like the vibe, the color scheme, the way that it looks to me, and like the aesthetic that I like. And I think I'm finally pretty happy with how it turned out. There's even some things you can probably tell that I changed since those last time-lapse clips last night. So there are just a couple little things that I changed even since then. I think I'm mostly happy with it. I will probably adjust things every once in a while as I go, and then obviously as I get new books, things will have to change and adjust. I just totally gave up on the bottom row of shelves. They are atrocious, they are chaotic, they are ridiculous. And I'm just leaving them that way because those are books that I really don't want out here on my main bookshelves anyways. Eventually, when I get enough books that I love to display there, those ones will end up in my office on a separate bookshelf. They're like my nonfiction, my old like children's books, or like my husband's books. And those ones I just like don't need to have out here. He doesn't really care where they go. So those will move eventually. So the bottom shelves are just an absolute disaster and I just gave up. I don't care. So I will give you a quick little like tour through, I guess, so you can see up close the different shelves that I ended up with, because I know the time lapses are kind of far back. So I'll give you a little closer look at how things finally shook out, what I decided on. So let's take a closer peek at these bookshelves. Okay, we have a bit of a funky angle, but that's what we gotta do to get these top shelves in. This top one is the only shelf that absolutely did not change in this reorganization. I liked how it was, so it just stayed. It's a fun vibe, I'm happy with it, so didn't even touch that one. At one point, I think in the time lapse, you can see me like turn one of these books in and try to add more books to it, and then just immediately take them back out and put it back to how it was. Then down here, I kind of tried to pull these colors down through these next couple of shelves. I just liked the way that worked. This one was somewhere else last night and I moved it over here because I liked how kind of the reds and blues pulled together, and then greens down here. And honestly, this is just kind of a chaotic cluster of like brightly colored books that didn't really go with anything. These are really beautiful together. I also like that a lot of them are Middle Eastern inspired or African inspired fantasies. I like how this one turned out. Keeping this strange angle but moving over one, I have this kind of like blued pink. This one I've been fiddling with a lot. I like the books, I just don't know if this is the order I want them in. Anyways, kind of like a blues and pinks vibe. Down here, this is one of my favorites. This shelf is blacks and golds and reds and whites, and I think it's beautiful. I had a similar shelf up here previously, and I like moving it down here because this will be more my video background. And then I just kind of pulled out some of those extra books that were in it, kind of mucking up the color scheme, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I added Babel into it because that was in my Dark Academia shelf before, and I really like how it looks with this shelf, so I'm really happy with that. And then below it, you can see we kind of continue blacks and golds down there. So again, I kind of tried to pull like rows together, I guess, this time. I don't know, that's just what we went with. I also really tried to keep heights the same. That is like the one thing that I really care about. Obviously, we have a lot of like very slightly different heights here. That's okay with me. I wouldn't want like a really tall hardback and then a, you know, one of the ones that are this tall. That's not my vibe. So that's like my one really big thing that I do when organizing my bookshelves is like height. Kind of random, but that's what I like. Next up, we have the SJM shelf, which did stay the same format, but I just moved it. It was down here. Now we're up here. So that's that one. And then this one is kind of a reds and blues. Again, I really love this one to be like right where my background of my videos is gonna be, because some of these are just my most beautiful books that I really love. I have a lot of like duologies that just happen to be this color scheme. So like the blue and the purple for the Sands of Arawaya duology. We have Elements of Cadence is blue and red. And then these are not a duology, but they're not completed. So there's just two and they're also blue and red. So kind of fun. I like the vibes of that shelf a lot. And sorry for the funky lighting in here right now, but the final top shelf over here, we have all of my Shadow Hunters together. And then this super brightly colored books that I didn't have another home for, along with this beautiful print from Book Babe Designs. So really happy of how these colors work together. This kind of like bright Shadow Hunter kind of pulls into this. And then down below, again, I continued with some brightly colored books, which I will show you in a moment. So the next two shelves down here towards the bottom, right underneath the brightly colored shelf up here, we have some really bright like YA fantasies, and then my romance and cozy mysteries, which are just like bright and pretty. Then down here we have a bunch of paperbacks, which are a little messy. It's not my favorite, which is why it goes kind of down at the bottom. But, you know, we tried to pull some colors together in a way that looked decent. It was an effort. But as I got lower in the shelves, I just got more and more tired and cared less and less about what I was doing. This next shelf is also gonna be in the background of my videos, so I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It ended up being like a purpley pinky shelf with like those muted tones. I just really think it turned out beautifully. I like how the colors are pulling together here. Got some pretty covers facing out, and I'm really happy with that one. This one I worked on for a really long time. It was really difficult to pull together, but I'm really happy with how it ended up. Then underneath we have some blues and reds and purples, and again, I really like this one too, and I like how these two shelves flow together just a lot. Next we have the blacks and golds with a little bit of red. This one's really pretty, and then some silver and white, but this one's just really pretty and classic, also gonna be in the background of videos. Then down here we have some like teals and greens and blues, which I think go together really well. This is pretty similar to a shelf that I had previously, just up higher. And this is the last chunk that I'm going to show you. I'm honestly not even gonna talk about the bottom shelves. I'll show like a full pan of the shelves and you can see them there, but there's really nothing to talk about because they're a disaster. But over here, we have a bunch of random hardbacks that are not like specific to a genre, but I liked the colors and the way they went with the Gilded Wolves trilogy and then these reds and blacks. And we have my Harry Potter books and Narnia. So this shelf section is kind of behind a chair and not gonna be seen a ton. So it's just kind of a random hodgepodge. But that's the shelf tour. this very chaotic video. Let me know in the comments what you like to do to organize your shelves. Do you do color? Do you do author? Do you do genre? Are you like me and you're just like chaos queen? Only vibes, only aesthetic, that's what I'm here for. Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious what you like to do, if you have any special shelves of like your favorites or your special editions. This time I honestly just really didn't do any of that, but sometimes I do, and I will need to do another one of these in the future. Hopefully not very soon, but eventually I will, so maybe I will take some of your ideas for that time. I hope you have enjoyed this extremely chaotic video, hanging out with me while I reorganize my bookshelves. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, all the things. I would really, really appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.